Chairman Lawson, Ranking Member Graves, and the members of the subcommittee, thank you for inviting me to testify on behalf of the Professional Aviation Safety Specialist to discuss the current state of aviation safety. While the United States remains the world leader in aviation, PASS agrees with the subcommittee that it is time to examine all factors that influence aviation safety. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the family members here today who lost their loved ones in the Ethiopian Airlines accident. On behalf of all members of PASS, I extend our deepest condolences to you and to the families of the Lion Air victims who also suffered great loss. PASS represents approximately 11,000 FAA employees nationwide. These employees are the backbone of the aviation system. Technical operations employees install, maintain, support, and certify air traffic control equipment. Aviation safety inspectors, or ASIs, oversee and inspect commercial and general aviation. PASS represented employees also develop flight procedures, perform quality analysis of aviation systems used in air traffic control, and aid in building and restoring air traffic control facilities. When I last appeared before the subcommittee, it was in the wake of the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. ASIs and support personnel were furloughed and no longer providing safety oversight, while technicians, TSA agents, and others worked without pay. Layers of safety were being stripped away. Unfortunately, we find ourselves approaching a similar situation without a funding agreement in sight. It is imperative to the integrity and safety of the national airspace system that Congress and the White House work to avoid another shutdown. The uncertainty of the current political environment also threatens the FAA's ability to attract and retain the highly skilled workforce that it requires. Staffing and training challenges have plagued the FAA for years. Within air traffic, inadequate technician staffing at critical airports across the country remains a challenge, resulting in increased restoration times during an outage and more air traffic delays. Staffing shortages can also put FAA employees at risk. The safety of the system starts with the safety of all FAA employees. The agency does not even know how many employees are adequately needed to perform safety-critical work. For example, this committee saw fit to include in the provision of the 2018 FAA reauthorization, directing the FAA to re-examine the ASI staffing model. However, it remains unclear when this work will be completed. ASIs are vital to the FAA certification processes that ensure aircraft and equipment that meet FAA airworthiness requirements. PASS represented employees and flight standards issue certificates and approvals for commercial air carriers, repair stations, pilot, and others to operate in the NAS. While the FAA inspectors are integral to the certification process, individuals and ODAs are often granted more authority to conduct certification functions traditionally performed by FAA inspectors. Designees are now performing more than 90% of the FAA certification activities, despite serious concerns by the Inspector General and PASS that oversight is lacking. While the delegation of this authority may be deeply integrated into the certification process, now is the time to make sure that the FAA is providing the proper oversight of the program to ensure its success moving forward. Unfortunately, after the two tragic accidents that led to the grounding of the 737 MAX, and with the agency facing intense scrutiny, the FAA continues to rapidly expand the delegation program, further removing ASI oversight from the certification process. PASS has urged the FAA to halt further expansion of delegation until the investigations relating to the 737 MAX are issued, and would appreciate the committee's support on this matter. This is but one example where risk is continually being introduced into the system that may not manifest itself for years to come. I'd also like to highlight the work performed overseas on U.S. aircraft at foreign repair stations. Domestically, FAA inspectors perform unannounced inspections of repair facilities. However, foreign facilities receive announced inspections, giving those facilities advance notice to ensure compliance before inspectors arrive. Foreign facilities should be subject to the same requirements as domestic repair stations. No other technology will alter the makeup of our airspace like the integration of drones. With over 1 million drones registered, the agency is facing a new set of safety, staffing, and training challenges. As drones are now sharing airspace with manned aircraft, ASIs and aviation safety technicians are tasked with ensuring the safe operation and compliance with federal regulations. PASS fears that similar to the many other areas of aviation safety, FAA employees will be forced to oversee this booming industry without the proper guidance and training. It shouldn't take a tragedy before the agency recognizes and reconsiders this approach. In closing, PASS emphasizes that the safety of our airspace starts and ends with the investments in the employees who oversee and maintain it. Anything short of that is simply gambling with aviation safety. Thank you very much for the opportunity to testify on this important issue, and I look forward to any questions.